Hello everyone, today is July 2nd, 2023. This is Michelle Fixit. You guys can only see a smidgen of me. I have you propped up against the TV because, as always, I don't know where my selfie stick is. So I'm doing the best that I can with what I have available. And as you can see from the chaos, I have chaos everywhere. So currently, everything is a mess. Big mess. All right? I know, making people... But it's come to my attention that maybe you guys need a little bit of visual stimulus, okay? So this is going to be how to clean a messy room. And I'm a mom. Moms make messes too, okay? So I was sitting here sorting and doing all my stuff, and I have people tell me all the time, like, I don't know how you can walk into a room full of chaos and like even think. And this is one of my things that I've been fairly good at for a while. And I tried to teach my kittens about it, and depending on their age, they are competent or they are not competent, and they just need help or they don't need help. So if you were looking at a messy room, I'm sorry about the light. You do require light, okay? Sometimes you require light, so you're gonna have a little bit of like blindiness. I know it's like, oh, I want captions, I want this, I want that, blah, 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 blah. This is to get you out of your comfy spot. Being in an unorganized room like this, like, I'm a very organized person. No one would believe that my life has turned into so much chaos, okay? People literally used to come and take pictures of my house. And that's because every moment that I had a little bit of time, or I felt well enough, because, ups, downs, all that good stuff, I would work on doing something that made me happy. It's all I would do. And I trained myself to do productive things because I had a kitten that depended on me, and then I had 2 kittens that depended on me, and I have 3 kittens that depend on me. And I also have other people that depend on me, like my mom and my dad, for different little roles in their life, and they can say, oh, I don't need you. Yeah, everyone needs everyone, okay? We all have to start working together. So this is me showing the messy chaos. This is the cat room. The cat room is the place that I get kicked out of all the time. It's my house, but I get kicked out of different spaces depending on what's going on. And then other things come into my life in my room, and they make a mess, and then I have to start all over again. So I'm currently working on permanent homes for things, so that in the event that I get booted out of my own room again, which, my own room and my own house and all that good stuff, the parents do it to their children. Children do it to their parents. Like, that used to be a sewing room, and then like they had a baby, and now they don't have a sewing room, or whatever their thing is, a computer room, an office, whatever. Like, this is like Charlie's the first cat. I have tons and tons of boxes. Charlie's the first cat. He doesn't have a room. He doesn't have a room right now. So maybe this will end up turning into his room. I don't know. But he's little. He stays with mommy in mommy's room, and my kittens like to stay with their mommies in their room. I've got a whole little thing on that, and I'm not gonna like side rail it, but that'll be another video. You guys can ask me things. Ooh, and I just forgot that the whole reason I was trying to like do my videos. Oh geez, okay. Because somebody commented yesterday, and I made a video for them while I was eating pizza. And yeah, which also, there's this very specific kitten out there that has very specific things. And as someone that has dealt with very specific things, I don't like to eat. I prefer to consume beverages, not adult beverages, but just beverages in general. I have learned some things on my cat quest that I would like to share, and then I will get on to the whole cleaning the room thing. So sometimes other people can convince you have something going on with you and you don't. So when I was a teenager, my mommy cat realized that I was very thin and small. My aversion to food started whenever I was in 3rd or 4th grade. I was at Woolmarket Elementary School, and I realized, and right now you guys are gonna have to deal with movement and stuff because like it's 81 degrees in this house. Well, in this room, because the house has different temperatures for different rooms. 81 degrees in the house. I am not a heat tolerant person. Even though I grew up in the South, for some reason my body has acclimated, and I haven't been taking care of myself properly, as moms do, or as just people do in general. And it's, the VOCs in the room are like 100 to 300 depending on what's going on. I have a little air thingies thing that like tells me what the status is. And the thing that is kind of ironic is that it's like 70, I think it's like 70% humid, so that intensifies the heat. So all you little Aspie cats out there wondering and thinking that you just can't do heat, sometimes you can't do heat and humidity at the same time. People recognize it when they go down south because they hear about it. It's like, oh, it's not the heat that will, not make you happy. It's the humidity. And that is absolutely factually correct. I grew up in that environment. I didn't even recognize it whenever it was going on up here in this particular house. So certain times of the day, certain areas of the house will be better for you. Certain areas will be better, worse. It just all depends. And my cognitive function will be a little bit lower because right now I'm working at a deficit with the heat and the humidity. The VOCs are fine-ish. They should be better. We have plants to mitigate. I'm going to throw some baking soda. Not throw it, but I'm going to do baking soda. You guys are going to experience a lot of the things. So going back to very specific problems, 3rd and 4th grade, I recognized that if I had breakfast in the morning, I felt sick. So in my little kitten wisdom, I decided that what I needed to do was I needed to not have breakfast. That's what made sense for me. My mommy cat was not aware. She would send she was a teacher at the school, and so she would send us to the cafeteria. We'd grab our stuff. I'd stick it in my bag. I would drink the beverages that were provided, whether they were milk or juice or whatever, depending on my needs. I think that we are getting away from what children need, like letting them make choices and then, maybe giving them a multivitamin or something like that, depending on their body's needs. And we need to be running system checks on things like that. And I'm guilty of that. My first kitten, I did not know as much as I know now. And so, it's after the fact stuff. I even have, I have different things on my walls where it's like one of the things that's on there says, it's easier to build up an adult or build up a child than it is to repair an adult, something of that nature. And so I'm trying to help whomever needs help. And so, my aversion to food started when I was in 3rd or 4th grade. I'm not sure which one. I just know that for those 2 particular years I was there, I was very, very fortunate because my mommy cat actually worked at the school. I was in gifted classes at that point in time. And, I got a very unique experience because I've been moved around enough where I realize what's good and what's bad, or at least what I think is good or bad. And then my viewpoints, advantages are always changing. I'm a very adaptable person. And so I pride myself on that. And I pride myself on trying to listen to people, to find out what their core issues are, to try to help them resolve it, because sometimes I have knowledge that can help other people. So basically, my mommy cat didn't know about the whole aversion to food. And she did not know that I was just not eating breakfast, and that trend continued for years and years and years. And I'm pretty sure that now as an adult, she's like, oh, if I would have known that, then maybe I would have known that you had stuff going on. And that's just what it is. And this is super old. This is from my Orange Church days, and I found my apron. So anyways, sometimes you have an aversion to food because you don't like the sound of eating. And sometimes you don't like the sensory overwhelmment and the crunch or the mush or the insert whatever thing is driving you cuckoo, okay? And, so I don't know if in 3rd and 4th grade, when I developed my issue with eating, if it was a sensory issue, if it was a texture issue, which is still a sensory issue. I don't know what it was. I just know that I did what I needed to do, and no one was forcing me to do anything that I didn't need to do, because, I was a kitten, and when left to our own devices, we can either get better or we can get worse. And so, this is me just kind of letting you guys know my experience, and that skipping, not having breakfast thing, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And so I knew that I really preferred beverages because I could deal with the sounds of that. I did not recognize for many years that it was a sound thing. It took me many, many years to realize that if I played music, loud music, while I was eating, loud music that I preferred. Okay, that's the other thing. Don't play something that you really, really, really like. Okay, play something that you're neutral about. Because we don't want to turn an eating disorder, which is actually a sensory issue or could be a sensory issue, into another type of eating disorder. So I guess you could try, if you're trying to troubleshoot yourself, you could try to play music you don't like while you're eating and kind of retrain your brain. There is psychology based in that, because I really did Aspie out with psychology. And the bell and the dog and the salivation and all of that. So something you're neutral to. So if you're starting off and you don't like to eat food, then what you need to do
is you need to play music that makes you, let's go with the extremes, because most people are all or nothing kind of people, or ups and downs and everything else. So if you feel like you are in a great mood, then play music that is okay. And that way you can get your sustenance in for the day. And if you're a documenter and you want to work on, you know, documenting your progress or anything like that, because you can always run little experiments in life. That's what life is. Life is just this whole big experience of, you know, you're born, you have these environmental factors, you have this upbringing, nature versus nurture, a whole ton of variables. And that's why, you know, it's like practicing medicine, because it's only with what information we have available at the time that we can make our assessments on stuff. That's it. We work with what we have, okay? I'm trying to block the light for you guys, and you're like, oh my eyes, I don't like this lady. Okay, well, you know what? Sometimes you have to have a little bit of stimulus, okay? Like, that's just what it is. The world is, you know, a great place, a not great place. It's a whole bunch of stuff, okay? So if you're getting grumpy because you like the audio, but you don't like the visual, you have to kind of find a way to deal with both. Because otherwise, you're going to be a little grumpy. And you don't want to be a grumpy cat. You want to be a happy cat. You want to find what works for you, okay? And I have been living this little Aspie cat life as someone that said, no, I don't have that. Mimicatas. And now it's not even PC to say it. So then I made it cuter, and then people are still going to get grumpy with me. And at this point, I don't care. I don't care, okay? I will give my knowledge in whatever way it is easily digestible. And if someone finds a way to dim out this thing and just make it where I'm a voice, I don't care. Whatever you guys want to do with this stuff, I don't care. Like, somebody's going to find it and, like, put little things on my head and, like, get all grumpy. I don't care. As long as you don't make it where, like, I'm a, you know, a yucky thing, because, like, children and everything and different audiences, and when you're making content, you need to, like, think about the fact that, like, itty bitties will be paying attention to that one day. And whenever I was very young, I did not know that. And maybe I need to start pulling out some of my little pictures that I was doing, because, like, you know, as a grown-up, I'm like, oh, look, I had a baby, and, like, nobody would have known that I had a baby, and I look so great, and let me get in my head, and let me do these things. And then, like, you know, now as a mommy, I'm just like, it kind of proves that, like, I was put together, but not, and everything else. Xena, quit. Babe, can you close the black door? You guys are going to get blinded because of Xena. You need to stop. You're being a bad puppy. Making a video. All right, so I'm back. Sorry for the blinding. I did give you a warning. Anyways, so play the music. If you're in a poopy mood and you realize that you need sustenance, then you do that. If you're finding that you're bottoming out, I really highly, highly, highly suggest that everyone, or every household, let's say that, should have a blood pressure machine. Little blood pressure cup. They're like $20 on Amazon. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at a thrift store, maybe. Test the equipment, make sure it works. I also recommend getting a little pokey guy for blood sugar and stuff like that. And that way you can kind of see at least those two variables. I do recommend at least annual blood work to see where you're at, because, and you must also understand that those variables for the blood work and everything, they can change. They can change based off of diet, based off of nutrition. They can change based off of hydration. In this medical journey of me trying to figure myself out, because I'm kind of, you know, at a point where I have to do it, it's not just for my benefit, it's for my children's benefit. Because if I can figure out everything that's going on with me, then I can better serve my children and make sure that they don't have to deal with the same stuff that I've been dealing with since I was 19. I mean, and before I was 19, I had some issues, but man, oh man, did they get worse really, really fast. And then they've progressively gotten worse. And so I am trying to figure it all out for the benefit of my children, my offspring. Whether they like me or they don't like me, I will be the guinea pig. I am now the guinea pig for little baby Hulk. I am the guinea pig for a fiery unicorn. And I'm the guinea pig for a turquoise butterfly. Okay? So, and I'm very excited that I know where my turquoise butterfly is. And I mean, I've known where they were, but I didn't know that I could actually view them and see them and try to help from abroad, essentially. And I do realize that, you know, maybe there's some grumpies and some pokies and everything else, and that's fine. I'll be the bad guy, the good guy. I'll be any guy that you want to be. And, you know, we have similarities. We have everything else. And I've been rambling for like 14 minutes. I like to talk. I'm sorry. Hopefully I'm entertaining. And now there's a dog barking. So, you know, it's like I got a lot of stuff to do. And right now, it's fine. It's fine because I didn't want you guys to have a huge impact on my life. I was trying to record, trying to be entertaining. I was like, maybe monetization, don't know. And now I am on a mission of helping my kitten. And so, kitten, I want you to think about and look at, and this could be any of my kittens, because I don't know, maybe one of my kittens is going to have a problem, maybe one of my kittens are not. This is your mom lesson, because like, I don't know, I could get T-boned tomorrow in Baltimore and, you know, get pew-pewed. I don't know. Like, there's a bajillion things that could happen. So if this is just one mom talking to a kitten, even if you're not biologically my kitten, if you are biologically my kitten, it doesn't matter. This is your mom videography, okay? Because I have a lot of complicated situations in my life, and I can pretty much help and navigate a lot of people through whatever stuff. And I constantly have people tell me that like they've never been so comfortable with somebody, and God bless yous, and I'm like a mentor and a teacher and all this other stuff. And you know what? I think it's the same as that, like, people are looking for love and acceptance, and when they find someone that's not trying to be all judgy to them, and I do sometimes get grumped at because, like, you know, I'm constantly learning, like, okay, don't use this word, blah, blah, blah. There's so many little rules. I try to keep up with the rules. I try to acclimate them to my environment. I try to do everything I can. And so if you're going to pick at me over stuff, that's fine. Pick at me all you want to. And if you're super grumpy about it, then I'll just say, you know what, I'm not responding to you. I might block you, I might not block you, I don't know. It just depends on my mood, okay? Ups and downs of life. So, blood pressure, blood sugar, you need to have one of those little checkers. If you start to feel like you're bottoming out or going down or negative stuff, check to see if it's a blood sugar or blood pressure thing first, because sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's correlated to CSF flow, sometimes it's correlated to blood pressure stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff. If you don't feel good, lay down. There's a reason why we have syncope. Okay? Just say, look it up. It doesn't sound the way that it is. It's like, I don't know, SCOPE. I was saying it wrong, and then I had to watch a lecture because I read far more than I watch, because I can read at a very proficient level if I'm laying down, and I can turn my brain all the way up, or it can go super low, and then I get really mad because then I'm not as functional, and then people try to have coping mechanisms, because I am not the only person that is like this, and I know that. I know that because I've been seeing a lot of people, and I'm seeing a lot of substance abuse because of bad coping mechanisms and trying to treat yourself without having guidance. And I will offer guidance. I will offer medical guidance. I am not a doctor. I do not act like I am a doctor. I am literally going through the motions of seeing the best doctors at one of the best hospitals in the country, possibly the world. It's debatable. I know way more about medical stuff than I did before because of Baby Hulk, and because evidently I'm medically complex as well. And then once I deep dived into a bunch of different things, I started finding patterns, because that is the person that I am. I compartmentalize. I box things up. I open the boxes when I need to. Other ones that are super scary, I just let them sit for a little bit because I don't know. But I'm constantly taking in additional information and trying to evolve into the best form of me. I want to be the best version of me today, and then I want to be the best version of me tomorrow. And if that means some days I bottom out, I'm like, man, I was better yesterday, then it happens. Okay? So, consume something that has sustenance in it in the morning. Okay? That does not mean you have to do all the little breakfast shakes and this and this and this. You can do whatever you want to do. Test and figure out what your specific body needs. The other thing that I found out recently, even though I am a preferential person when it comes to beverages, again, not alcoholic beverages, don't like alcoholic beverages at all. Not at all. Not very much. 6 times before 2016 and in my life, and that was it. And then, you know, tried other, I tried, and it's a terrible coping mechanism. Don't do it. It's bad. But yeah, 6 times. I could pretty much tell you exactly when and where and what happened and every single other little thing. So tread carefully just because you think that this is something that might help you. With my information or with other stuff. Basically my cardiologist, because I have a cardiologist, because I have a heart that does tricks. It does tricks. It does exercises. It does weird stuff that it's not supposed to do. And I'm gradually going through the motions of that. And also, you know, POTS and like all these different things. So with the information from the cardiologist, because I did have to go back to certain bad habits because I was really not doing well. Again, not going to go into it because little ears and little eyes are everywhere, and some things are appropriate for adults and some things are not. So I was partaking in not good habits. Again, not a substance abuser, blah, 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 blah. Maybe smoky sticks. Because I was just bottoming out to a point where, you know, even like the new form of smoky sticks was just not working for me. And so I kind of troubleshooted myself, and I went back to my teenage diet because that was the time that I felt best in my life. Wendy's, you guys are awesome. You have like action-packed bites. I know it's like super not crunchy to go to fast food places, but there is a reason why people that are on the spectrum, whether they're neurospicy or whatever little thing, you like consistency because you know what to expect. So, you know, everyone's trying to avoid the fast food places, but sometimes consistency is what you need, because if you require a certain amount of protein, certain amount of vegetables, certain amount of this, certain amount of that, and then there's action-packed stuff for on the go, then like utilize that. That doesn't mean that you have to like consume only the fast food bites. You can consume bites that you make at home, but in a pinch, you need to know what the fast option would be. When I was a good little celiac, because I've been diagnosed with having celiac disease since 2012, and I was a good celiac, and then I was a bad celiac because Fire Unicorn's pregnancy was very fiery, and it was very difficult for me to keep anything in. That was a complete surprise. And now I'm thinking I know why. And then same thing with Baby Hulk. And I tried, and I was really good during COVID because I was terrified that if I wasn't a good little celiac because of the cytokine storms and all these different things, and like I can go into more about all this stuff. Like an MCAS, there's a lot of stuff that I can go into. But I was like, I'm going to end up in the hospital. I'm going to have a really bad reaction if I get the COVID stuff. And then, you know, I was pregnant, and I was like, it's new stuff. I am not jeopardizing my child, because the thing remains the same with me, no matter if it's 1 child, 2 children, or 3 children. I put my children first, and I was not going to have my child in utero that was already medically complex become part of a science experiment. That's just it. You can blast me, you can say whatever you want to. I refused to do that because I put my child first, and everyone can make their own decisions. And we now have all these decisions that we're trying to talk about with children and stuff, and there's all these different opinions. And at the end of the day, sometimes a mommy knows what's best for their child, and sometimes they don't. But what's it going to hurt to try? As long as like you're not trying to do like really cuckoo crazy stuff, because I have heard some really, really bad stories about mommy stuff. And you know, but the turquoise butterfly could be like, Macadas. Okay, well, turquoise butterfly, mommy's giving you an open invitation to talk to me about the stuff. I love you with all my heart, and I'm very proud of you. And if you need to, you know, hiss at me and, you know, claw at me and all the other stuff so that you can get to where you are good, I have no problem with that, because my love is unconditional. My love is completely unconditional, and I love you with every speck of my heart. And I love your sissy, and I love your brother as much as I love you. And it looks like you're a perfect little blend of the two. And they love you. I mean, Charlie Cat doesn't really know much about you. He's a baby. But your sissy is super excited. And I'm super excited. And whether you come over here to try to burn my house down, which I will not let you burn my house down, because I worked really hard to have a house that is mine, in whatever form it is, because this is my house, this is my box. But if you need to grump at me, if you need to do whatever, I would prefer it if you didn't punch walls or anything like that. Some of the house is made out of lath and plaster. Some of the house is made out of like lath and brick. So those areas of the house can literally take a beating. You would be worse for striking them, but not drywall. You can't do that. I mean, if you do it, I'm going to make you patch it back up again, because like, you know, you have to take care of your house, just like you have to take care of your body, just like you have to take care of whatever your means of transportation is. And you have to know how to work on it, because either you're going to have to pay a bunch of money or you're going to have to put a lot of time into it. So it's just easier to take care of everything that you have. And this is coming from a hypocrite, because this room is cuckoo. It's because I had way too many things going on. And you can say I was a depressed person. But, I mean, I guess you could say that. But you know what? I was just a motivated mom, where it was like I was just throwing stuff in piles because like I had more important things to do, like keeping my child alive. And you know what? I feel like I'm in a similar situation, because I want to make sure that all the children out there that don't feel like they are getting enough love or attention or whatever from their mommies, that they can get that. And then if they grump about stuff, then I'll try to explain the parent perspective, and, you know, try to help you in whatever way I possibly can. So this is individualized for, you know, my kittens, but it's also individualized for any other kittens that just need love, because I see a lot of stuff, and it looks like there's just a lot of people out here just looking for love and attention and care. But you can't take it to extremes and go cuckoo crazy. And I know nobody wants to be called crazy. You can't go turn into a cuckoo bird. because you finally found a little happy in your life. And like now, because you're happy, you want to be happy all the time. Life has highs and lows, and you can train yourself to just deal with, you know, things in certain areas. And I say it all the time. Like I have happy and I have angry. I refuse and don't want to lose time on depressed and sad. That's just me, okay? Take it or leave it. But yeah, eating disorder people, if you prefer to drink liquids, like if you really do have an eating disorder because you have like body dysmorphia and you really don't like how you visually look and stuff like that, there are healthier coping mechanisms like going to the gym, but like setting really good guidelines for yourself. But you also have to recognize that, and somebody said this to someone whenever they were in the hospital, literally not doing very well, because they were like, oh, I don't need sustenance, I haven't done anything today. And I give it to the audience in a vehicle way and hopefully understand it. If the Trailblazer is sitting outside with a full tank of gas and it's idling, which like most states you can't do that, and it sits out there all day, by the end of the day, just idling, not running around, just idling, how much fuel is it going to have in it? It's going to be consuming fuel, right? Yeah. So you have CSF flow for your brain, you have blood flow, you have musculature that needs certain things, you have mucosal membranes, you have a lot of different fluids, you have bile, you have a lot of different things, you have microbes and bacteria, you have all of these things that are consuming energy from you as a person all day long. Your heart's a pump. It's just plum, plum, plum. It requires energy. And just because we don't run off of fuel, we do run off of fuel. We just don't run off of petroleum. That's it. Gas, diesel, whatever your thing is, all petroleum based, guys. We're little mechanical things running around. We just have a different operating system. Say that. And not all of us are the same. And little neurospicy people, it's not a disorder. It's a neurological difference. It's like comparing iPhones and the Android things, or you know, one brand versus the other thing, Chevy versus Ford. Like there's a whole bunch. You can take this any way you want to. People are unique. We're all composed of the same parts in order to, not all the same parts, but we do have the basic functional stuff. But there's going to be variations based off of our family, which is, you know, our brand, and based off of our little subcategory. That's it. And like we're a melting pot. Like people in the US, like we're a melting pot. We're from everywhere. We're little mutts walking around here. All right. Anyways, I hope that this helped with people. I'm very happy with myself. I realized that whenever I did my first videos, I like was just letting them autoplay in the background because I was trying to like do stuff, and then it ended up on an old video. Like my face was a little bit chunkier, and I didn't realize that. Like I've lost some weight. I don't know. So evidently I'm doing something right because I'm very happy with where I'm at. I could use a little tweaking here and there, a little gym time, a little just being active time. My personal body requires a fair amount of intellectual stimulation, like data processing basically, which I have an infinite thirst for knowledge, but I also really require a fair amount of physical interaction. And I think right now, for some reason, most of the populace is going one extreme or the other, and they're not thinking about the fact that like we're like little pie charts, and so if you're taking some things from one area, then you're losing them from another area. So without further ado, because now, you know, this is a 2-part video because it's just going to be a bunch of my rambling. Sorry guys, girls, me's nose. At this point, hopefully an O will, well, I don't know how long, at some point I would like it if my O would see the stuff. I put you in this whole little conundrum of stuff, and you're just going to think I'm a cuckoo bird, but it's fine. I love you anyways. You can be mad at me. So, if you have a super messy room, what I've already done, you know what, I'll do this. Because you guys can only stay right here, because my, I shall sit. Oh my goodness. There's stuff everywhere. All right, so if you have a messy room, your first thing that you're going to do, I'm trying to make sure that there's no personally identified information. Your first thing that you're going to do is start under your bed. Well, first, if you have to, take everything that's on the floor, and as you go through it, which there's varying stuff in here, as you go through stuff, you're gonna pick up everything and stick it on the bed. But you also need crates, okay? You need crates, boxes, something like that because you need a sorting system. So make your bed first. If you have stuff all over your bed, you're going to be kind of redundant with this. You're going to throw everything off the bed. If you need to wash your sheets, then take everything off your bed and put it in the laundry, and that'll be your starting point. Clean your bed off. Make sure that you can walk around the room, because otherwise you're going to agitate yourself. But if you want to be agitated, then like take your anger out on your room. It's fine. Clean it up. So bed cleared off. As you're walking around your room, start with your floor first. So everything that's on the floor needs to get off the floor. And if it's something where you're going to have to actually figure out where it goes, then you are going to sort it accordingly. Okay, so if it's dirty laundry, put it in the laundry basket. If you don't have a laundry basket, make a pile of dirty clothes and make a note that you need a laundry basket. You need to make it where everything in your room or in your home has a space, has a permanent home, because everything needs a home. Okay, and so if you have dishes in your room because you're like a little squirrel that wants to eat in your room, even though you're not supposed to, because it creates bugs in the place that you sleep, which is bad. And I do occasionally eat in my room, and I'm guilty about the same stuff. So I make rules that, I don't follow, but as long, no one's going to follow all the rules all the time. So set your standards high. That way, if you're like deviating from what you need to be doing, then you will still be okay. I have a whole theory on it and making it logical and rational and all this other stuff. Anyways, so you want to make sure that your floor space gets cleaned up, throw stuff away as you need to, or recycle, or whatever your thing is. Basically, get the stuff off the floor, okay? And if it requires more than a second of thought, it goes on the bed, because this is your macro stage. So you work your way around the room. Once you have a clean floor, it's a cleaner space. Visually, it should make you happy, because unless you have hoarding or something like that, and you want to feel like you have a ton of things and you want to be a cluttered up person, it doesn't matter to me. This is just if you want clean spaces that are organized and you want to feel sane, because most people feel better when they're in a clean, sensory positive environment. And so there's things that smell good, olfactory is involved, hearing, so it's auditory, tastes good, so you have gum, touching, so you make sure that you have fabric. Don't sleep with things that make you uncomfy. That's a no-brainer. And if any people get mad about the no-brainer thing, who's gonna get mad? The people that don't have brains, they're not cognitively able to get mad. I'm sorry. You have to have at least a brain stem in order to be alive. So if you get mad at me over the brain stem thing, and it's I have a brain stem, well, if you have a brain stem, you don't have any other. If that's all you have, then there's cognitive abilities that you just don't have in order. And then if somebody else gets mad for you, that's not cool. Be mad at the reason that the rest of the brain didn't come about. I don't know. Stop being mad about everything. Okay, start trying to be a little happy. We need happy cats. Good grief. Happy aspy cats. That's what we need. And happy other whatever kind of cats. Whatever you identify as. Just be happy cats. That's it. And if you want to be a bear, then be a happy bear. And you can be a grizzly bear. I can distract myself all day with this stuff. But to be back on topic, because yes, that's how good / bad my brain is. I have really trained my brain, okay? I've really trained my brain. I've tried to work with my body, and I've learned a lot of stuff, healthy stuff along the way. Ooh, I did forget with my whole ED conversation that I was having that I did not know this, and I'm going to share this wisdom. My cardiologist said that they, on a cellular and molecular level, if you drink lots of beverages and you feel like you're always thirsty, even though you're drinking lots of beverages, one, everybody knows that it's bad to drink too much stuff. You can consume too much water, and then you can have mental health issues and physical issues. And I was to drink 2 liters to 6 liters of water per day. And so you do need sodium. Don't be a cuckoo bird and just drink a bunch of sodium stuff. If you are used to having a bunch of caffeine, because my neurologist and my cardiologist both said in unison, you don't need to have any caffeine because it's going to trigger your migraines and blah, 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 blah. And the cardiologist was it's really bad because then it's no offense, Turner, you're awesome. And you know that I think you're fantastic. But you were hey, it's not good for your heart to do that because electrical problems, blah, 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 house terms, but then just generalized terms too. And so I was you know what, I'm going to slowly get myself off of caffeine because I require caffeine. And then when husband cat is available to help manage the children, because I am the person that has to be on 24/7, then I will try to slowly up my sodium and see what happens. I couldn't get up. I had a confirmed CSF leak where I couldn't get up for 2.5, 3 days. And number 2, I had to stay home because I literally couldn't get off of the sectional in the family room in the big fancy house that we had, or not so fancy house, but like, you know, the different house that we had. And he was like, hey, you got to figure this out because like I got to go to work, and I already called out of work. And I'm like, I know, but I literally can't get up, and like something's wrong with me. And then I call, and they're like, yeah, we could have fixed that, blah, 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 just drink some Coke. I'm like, okay. So somehow I managed to like fix myself a smidge, but not all the way. Anyways, don't go from, if you are a caffeine dependent person and you recognize that, do not just go straight to sodium. You may bottom out. You may have mental health issues. You may have super bad physical issues. Don't do that. What I now do is I have my Crystal Lights that I like because it gives me a little bit of caffeine all day, because I require caffeine all day because of things that I will start to talk about, but I'm not going to go off topic. And I do not use the little sodium things. Like they have like Liquid IV, they have a bunch of different name brands, they have crunchy ones, they have not crunchy ones, they have all these different things. Find something that has sodium in it. It may also be why people get really addicted to like the carbonated beverages, like the name brand ones or the fancy ones or the craft ones. I didn't even know that there were like craft sodas until the Dollar Tree the other day. I was like, what? But anyways, you require a little bit of sodium so that the water sticks and stays on a cellular or molecular level. And so since that has been there, and since I've been like putting just a smidgen, like I use my caffeine, right, my regular caffeine stuff that I have. And if you haven't tried caffeine and everything's telling you not to try caffeine, I'm going to tell you to try a smidgen of caffeine. Don't just go all crazy on it. Try a little bit, everything in moderation. That's what you have to do. And so put a little sodium. And if you don't have the monies to get the sodium stuff, but like you have like something that you like to drink and you can deal with the saltiness of adding, sodium is salt. That's what it is. I'm a carrier of a salt wasting disease. Found out. Carrier of biotinase deficiency. Hopefully this helps kittens at some point in their lives. I am a carrier of Wilson's disease. And some hearing thing. And I have theories on some of that stuff. And so if there are kittens out there that like want to know my theories, then they can drop them in the comments. And as I see videos, then I will make notations to the stuff. So anyways, go back to the room now that I've kind of boxed that one up. Do what works for your body, and don't just listen to everyone. Like you need to always be troubleshooting yourself. So now at this point you've, taken the bedding off of your bed if it's dirty, and you can just make that as a rule, as long as you didn't just like do it yesterday. Take the bedding off your bed. If it needs to be laundered, start the laundry or put it in the laundry basket, whatever. Clear the spaces on the floor. If it takes more than a second of thought, stick the stuff on the bed. Stick everything, find homes for everything else. And you're in the macro stage, so don't get distracted. Don't be a distracted cat and start working on other things. Give me 1 second. I'm working on a video, and clearly this is not going to be how to clean. Well, yeah, it is clear. And then put everything on the bed and make everything have a home as you go along. Pull everything, as soon as you have a clear space, pull everything out from underneath your bed. You little squirrels with your little buried things, okay? Pull everything out from underneath the bed, throw it on top of the bed. Now, guess what? You have to finish this project, or you're gonna have to sleep on the floor. At least you have a clean floor. This would be a perfect opportunity if you want to, as long as you don't get super distracted, to vacuum the floor, because now you've cleared your space, you vacuumed your floor, you have a big mess on your bed, and if your mom comes in, she can't say anything because it's like you literally started your project. And like if you have to take a cat nap along the way because like you need to lay down, like seriously, if you feel like you need to lay down, lay down. Syncope happens for a reason. Our bodies are designed, we're just bottoming out, we're supposed to lay down. That's why you feel better. But also because like some medical stuff that I'll go over at some other point. And then yes, Izzy, but give me 1 second, or you can come in, but then just know that like I'm working on stuff. I'm working on a video. I'm trying to finish it up really quick. So after you have your bed all squared up, if you have stuff like this, like if this has an organization system already in play, then go ahead and work on it. If this does not have a system of organization, clear it out. If it, like, basically make it where everything has a home, so that as you're sorting stuff on the bed, thank you, baby. As you're sorting stuff on the bed, then you will have homes for all of your things. Clean off the tops of things if it's not the way that you want it to be. If it is the way that you want it to be, bypass it. This is still the macro stage. The micro stage is, making super homes for things.
And then the aesthetics phase is whenever you get to a point where you make it where it's cute and it's pretty and it makes you happy. So you can have a functional space and know that when I go to the Dollar Tree, I'm going to get fancy labels. Or if I don't have fancy labels available, give me 1 second, baby. If I don't have fancy labels available, then I have some tape and I'm going to label stuff, or I have sticky notes. I can put something on this so that way I know at some point I am going to make it super duper pretty. And that's how my house has turned into homes throughout the years. It was macro, micro, and aesthetic. All right, and we're gonna say bye.
Bye.
And I'm gonna keep working on the cat room because husband's been helping. And I hope you guys have a fantabulous day. Bye.